Alright everybody, so I want to make a quick little video on some tips for beginners. There are going to be 5 things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Destiny board, speccing items up, or if you're really new to this game, spec is basically XP, right, or fame. Safe and unsafe zones that you can go into throughout the world. Using the market. I'll have to make another video about the black market because that's kind of more advanced. And then city bonuses for refining and crafting. So first we're going to go over the Destiny board. So this is the Destiny board. Once you log into Albion and you look at this thing, I know you're going to be overwhelmed because I definitely was when I first started looking at it, right? Like, I don't even know where to go from here. Like, I'm at this node in Tutorial Island. How do I get all the way over to here? So don't worry too much about it. Once you get off of Tutorial Island and you have your tier 2 armor, basically you're gonna kind of have quests once you get to the starting city off of Tutorial Island. So you can go and farm certain resources and craft better gear and such. So what you should have done when you were on Tutorial Island is you should have kind of looked at the weapons and things that you can use, right? So there's the sword, there's the bow, and then there's the fire staff. Each one of these things goes into their own part of the tree. So as you can see here, there's the sword, here's the bow, here's the fire staff, right? And then inside of each one of these, there are different types of weapons and offhands, right? So it goes all the way up to here. We're not going to worry about this right now, okay? We're just going to worry about this kind of stuff, you know, the tier 3 items. So your job off of Tutorial Island is to figure out what you want to go into first, whether it be cloth, leather, or plate. If I had to suggest something, I would suggest leather and cloth to start off, right? They have probably the best abilities. Plate is very weird because once you get down here, it's just, that's for another video, right? You can look into it for yourself, see if there's abilities on there that you like. It's completely up to you. I would just recommend starting with leather and cloth, which, by the way, are interchangeable. So if you wanted to, you could wear like a mercenary jacket and you could wear cloth boots, or also a cloth helmet, or vice versa, right? So once you figure out what type of items you are interested in using, go ahead and get yourself some tier 3 versions of that, right? Including the weapon, whichever weapon you choose to use. Once you've done that, then everything that you do to gather fame by killing mobs or doing dungeons or anything like that, that fame is going to go towards getting tier 4. So let's say you went with an axe, okay? Once you have enough fame using the tier 3 axe, you will then unlock the axe fighter tree, which is this node right here. So, and this is for everything, right? So you can look at these weapons right here. Each one of these basic weapons in the start has their own tree. So there's the sword tree, axe tree, mace, hammer, gloves, and crossbows, and it's the same for up here, right? So there's bow, quarterstaff, dagger, nature healing, spear, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so once you get to that point, right, you've now unlocked tier 4. Now once you equip and start using these tier 4 items, whatever it may be, you are now going to start leveling up the axe fighter tree itself. So this is going to get you more abilities, passive bonuses, and higher tier weapons over time. This just kind of comes naturally with playing the game. So I wouldn't really worry about it. When, you know, it'll come. You don't have to feel like, oh man, I really wish I had this, but I'm only at level 3. I just got the second Q ability, right? Don't worry about it. It'll all come in time. So once you understand how that works, right, this is where it's going to get a little bit more advanced. So I'm just going to quickly go over this because this could be an entire video in itself. But each item in this tree, and this again goes for all different branches in the Destiny board. So this includes armor as well, all types of armor, all types of weapons, and even offhand. So like the shield, that's an offhand. And then there's torches, and then there's tomes. So I'm just going to focus on that axe tree, right? So from here, while you are leveling up these axes, you're also going to be adding specialization bonus to the specific weapon that you are using, right? So I'm just quickly going to go over this, but per every level that you go up with whichever weapon you're using, you're going to get +2 specialization bonus to item power for X, right? So in this case, it would be the Realm Breaker, because I have the Realm Breaker selected. But on top of that, for every level that you increase a weapon in a tree that includes all of these weapons, so in this whole tree, all of these are included. For every level that you increase for one of these weapons, it is also going to give you +0.1 bonus to item power for all of the axes or all of the maces, you know. So for example, my bear paws, I have them at level 101. So if I open this tab, the basic leveling, because I have this at 101, this gives me +10 bonus item power to all my axes. So like, let's say I have 0 spec in the carry-on collar. If I didn't have any levels in any of these other weapons at all, and I just had levels in bear paws, I would start off with this with 10 more IP than I would have if I had 0 spec in all of these. So later on in the game, it is actually important to level up each weapon or each piece of armor, but that's really, really far down the road. Like, I've been playing this game for like 3.5 years, and I just now really started focusing on it, so don't really worry about that too much. I just wanted to kind of give you a quick little brief on that. So secondly, I guess we already kind of went over second. That's spec and how it works. Now we can go over safe and unsafe zones. So for me right now, I'm in the black zone. That's later, right? As a new player, probably don't want to go out into the black zone because you're just going to get killed instantly. So for me, I started off in Martlock, right here, this main city. So this is Tutorial Island. I went to Highland Cross, which is the starting quote-unquote city, right? This is where you get your first little bit of how Albion works with like crafting, and you're gonna be around a whole bunch of new players, and there's the first real market that you can use in this zone, and then your bank, right? This is all the basic stuff for what you're going to be doing in Albion, whether it's for crafting or refining or just storing items, selling items, repairing items, increasing their value, like they can have good quality or outstanding quality. All these things will be introduced to you in this first little area. But once you graduate from here, or it's, you know, whichever city you came from, whether it's for Bridgewatch or for Limhurst, all these little areas, right? Once you graduate and you go to the actual city, you will notice that there's a lot of stuff, right? So inside the cities, these are all safe zones, okay? In blue zones, there is no PvP at all. This is only for PvE, and it's low tier PvE, okay? So this is where you guys are probably gonna be spending most of your time in the beginning stages of the games. Yellow zones, there is PvP. People can flag as hostile and they can attack you, but this is something that took me a little bit longer to understand when I first started playing, because I didn't have anybody telling me any of this stuff. I just had to go through trial and error. I was afraid to go into the yellow zones, because when you are in Martlock and you try and go through this zone right here, a thing is gonna pop up and it's gonna be like, PvP is allowed in this zone. Are you sure you wanna go? And I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. But don't worry, okay? Yellow zones, yes, PvP is enabled. However, if someone who is flagged as red gets you down in a yellow zone, you will not die. You will not lose your items. You will just go down for 3 minutes and you'll pop right back up. You'll be fine. Okay, so don't be afraid to go into the yellow zones, because that's like your first little taste of like higher tier dungeons, just higher tier everything compared to the tier 3 and tier 4 zones that you have been doing things in so far. Now, red zones, however, this is where it starts to get dangerous, because if someone attacks you in the red zone, you will die and you will lose your items. So it's still not a total guarantee that you're gonna run into somebody who is flagged as a red. So you can still kind of like go in here and look around if you're super new. However, when you go into a zone, here, okay, I'll just use this for an example. So the mini map down here, when you zone into a zone, there's going to be a number down here, right? For me, it's just 2 because I'm in a hideout and it's just me and this guy in here. But when you zone into a red zone, so it says right here, number of friendly players in this region. When you zone into a red zone, it's not going to say friendly, it's going to say hostile. So if you zone into a red zone and there's a number down here, that means that there are hostile players in that zone. And whatever number it may show down here, that is equal to however many there are. So that is when you should start being a little more cautious, right? Like if it's like 1 or 2 people, whatever, you know, you might run into them, you might not, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But if it's like 5+, you probably don't really want to go in there as a new player. So I would just be careful in red zones. You can still come out here, you can still do content out here. I would just be very cautious because you can die. So if you're really new, try and stick to the blue and yellow zones for a bit until you kind of get your legs a little bit. It's not going to be that big of a deal though if you die. If you're running dungeons and stuff in here, you'll make more money. So now that I've kind of gone over that, I'm going to go to Martlock and show you guys the market. It's taking a minute. Alright, so now that we're here at the market, this is where you're going to be buying and selling all of your items, obviously, unless you like have a friend or something like that. You can actually trade people, and people can send you silver for items that you're going to trade them. That is another way to make money. That's also a way to avoid market tax, actually. Market tax is kind of a pain, especially if you don't have premium. So, let's say I wanted to buy a mercenary jacket. Oops. This is a tier 1. So let's say I just typed in merc or mercenary, right? It might show up with these tier 1 items, but you don't want to buy tier 1 items because you're in tier 3 or tier 4. So the way that you manipulate this is you can click on this, which is a drop down menu, and you can select which tier you are looking for, right? So I'm going to be looking for tier 4. Uh-oh, here's a problem. I only typed in merc, which is now showing me mercenary shoes, but I want the jacket. So there's another way that you can go about doing this. This is kind of the longer way, but if you just type in mercenary jacket, it'll show up with the jacket. However, there is this way of doing it. So you click on category and go down to armor, and then go over here and go to leather armor. So that is now going to show you the mercenary jacket. So if you click buy, don't worry, it's not going to just suck the silver out of your account right away. You have to finalize it. Okay, so I'm going to pull this drop menu out. This is all your market information: sell orders, buy orders, how many things are being sold, for how much every hour, and there's also the 7 days and then 4 weeks. Okay, but we're just going to focus on the 24 hours. So there's a couple different things that you're looking at here. There is sell, there's buy, sell order, and buy order. So if you want your silver right away, you don't want to have to wait, you would select sell. But you might get less money if you sell instead of do a sell order. In this case, the sell orders and the buy orders are literally 2 silver off. So it's kind of a bad example right now. So let me let's go to Hunter Hood and deselect that. Okay. So here we go. This is good. So people who are running sell orders, so let's say you have this item in your inventory. Actually, let me just buy one for you. So you go to your sell tab, right? You want to sell this. You can put in a sell order, which will not sell immediately like it would if you just clicked on sell. Right here, so each one of these things, they both have tax, right? But if you're doing a sell order, it also comes with a setup fee. Now, I have premium, so I only pay 4% tax. If you do not have premium, it's 8%. I know, kind of sucks, but it's not too bad, right? You would just be paying 60 silver versus 30 silver if you have premium. What you want to be looking for when you're choosing whether you want to run a sell order or just sell is these numbers right here. Okay, so if you're going to run a sell order, it's going to go in this category over here. This is like an asking price. So I'm like, okay, I want to sell this for 731 silver. This, when you look up Hunter Hood, right, these are people running sell orders. So someone actually has to come in here and buy the item, right? But if you click on sell, you will immediately get the silver. And the way that that works is people put in buy orders for items in the game. However, they want to get the item for cheaper than it is being sold at the sell order price. So people would put in a buy order for X amount of hoods at this price or whatever price they want. And it's going to be determined based on this. So if you wanted your buy order to be above this guy, you would have to increase the amount of silver that you would pay above what this guy is willing to pay. Now, when you sell an item by clicking this sell button and then sell it from here, when you instant sell it, it's going to sell it to the highest buy order, okay? Not the sell order. So when you're selling with this button, don't pay attention to this. Pay attention to this, because this is how much silver you're going to get. Now, if you do a sell order, people may buy your item at whichever price you want, but you don't want to like increase the price too much, because if I went to like, I want someone to buy this for 752 silver, it's going to go all the way down here. It's going to be between these two things. That's pretty far down the line, so not many people are really going to see that. People are going to buy this. So usually what I do when I run a sell order is I go for 1 silver less than the top sell order. So now 731. So this is going to take a little bit longer to sell, but it will still probably sell, because if you look over here, this is another part of the market. This is how you tell whether or not something is worth putting on a sell order or just selling it straight up. That usually doesn't come in handy until you're talking about like much higher tier items. But right here, per hour, let's take a look. 33 were sold, 22 were sold, 19 were sold, 16 were sold, 117 were sold. Over here in the more recent hours, so 6-hour time span right here, 21, 19, 133, 22, 22, 8. This generally is the area that you want to focus on when you're deciding whether or not it's worth it for you to run a sell order or just sell it to the highest buy order. Hopefully this is making sense to you. I'm not sure if I'm making it like super noob friendly, but trying to kind of go over it a couple times, so maybe by the second or third, maybe fourth time I explain it, it'll click, you know. But yeah, so that's basically how you use the market. And with lower tier items like this, it's like things will sell, okay? It's not like it's gonna take a week to sell this item. It's probably gonna sell within a couple hours, to be honest. So if you want to get more silver, run a sell order. But make sure that you check the buy orders, because if I went to mercenary jacket, if I go here, all right, take a look at this. Check the sell orders versus the buy orders, because if you had a tier 4 mercenary jacket and you wanted to sell it, and you're like, oh, I'll just, you know, I do this all the time, I'll just run a sell order, because that's what most people do. You could quite literally instantly get the money if you just hold this tab out and looked. Oh, look at that. I could run a sell order and I could pay 1,000, or I could sell it for 1,302 silver in like an hour, or I could instantly get 1,300 silver. So just make sure that you're always popping this thing out and checking the price difference between the buy orders and the sell orders, okay? So that is pretty much it for the market. That's just like, this is really, really basic, okay? So this is just kind of teaching you how to use the market. There's one more thing that I would go over. You can select whether you want it to be enchanted, the item that you're looking for. And quality doesn't really matter that much. It increases your IP, but not by that much. It's not crazy. That's like closer to end game stuff. You know, you probably aren't going to care about that for a long time. I didn't. Okay, so after that, I'm going to go over city bonuses. Let me just buy a mount really quick so I can actually get around quicker. Okay, so I'm just gonna step outside of the market. Then I'm gonna go over city bonuses for refining and crafting. So when it comes to Martlock, and you drop down this menu right here, there are the local bonuses right here. Okay, so right now this isn't always going to be here. This stone, this is just special because of some special stuff going on right now. So forget this is here. 99.9% of the time, the hide plus 40 bonus is going to be there because Martlock is the hide refining center in all of Albion, right? So you're gonna get a good bonus for refining fiber here, or sorry, not fiber, hide, excuse me. And then there's also the basic crafting bonuses for axes, quarterstaffs, frost staffs, plate shoes, offhands. This bow thing is not going to be here. Again, if it has like this party thing, then it's special. Okay, it's not always going to be there. So these are the 5 items that will always be here that you get a bonus for crafting in Martlock. So if you came here in Martlock and you were like, oh, I want to refine cloth. Well, unfortunately, you are not going to get this plus 40%. So let me show you what that would look like. So let's see, where is, I think this is the nearest cloth refiner. So when you get over here to the cloth refiner, you're gonna see something kind of underwhelming, right? Resource return rate is only at 15.2%. So what this is telling you is that when you refine cloth here, it takes 1 simple cloth and 2 tier 3 flax. You will receive 15% of those resources given back to you. So that 15% of whatever you're doing is going to go back into your inventory. So that is basically where the profit is made realistically when you're refining items or crafting items. It's all in the resource return rate. Now you can still make money when the resource return rate is lower than 40. However, it is recommended that you go to the specific city for whatever item you are refining or crafting. So for example, Bridgewatch is for stone. Oh, okay, so here's something that I should probably touch on. Stone is always going to be in Bridgewatch. However, it's usually only plus 40%. Now there's the little party thing. So there's an added 20% return rate to stone right now in Bridgewatch. So for each city, they have their own thing, right? So Bridgewatch is stone, Limhurst is fiber, Fort Sterling, I believe, is wood, yep, and Thetford is ore, okay? So going to those respective cities for whatever item you are trying to refine is very important for making profit if you plan to sell the items that you are crafting or refining. And just like going to this cloth station, if I go over to a hide station, it's going to tell me that I get plus 36.7. So it's not 40% exactly, but it's still better than 15, right? Because you're getting basically 40% of the resources that you spend to refine these items, you're getting that back right into your inventory. That is pretty much it for the basic rundown. I hope that this video isn't too long, and I hope that I didn't ramble on too much. But there are certain things, you know, like the Destiny board, or I don't know, the market, all that kind of stuff, where going over things several times when you're talking to a new player is probably going to be more beneficial. And if you get it on the first time around, you can skip. You can go to the next thing. But for some of the people out there that are a little bit more confused, going over it several times will help them, because again, like I said earlier, maybe the third or fourth time that I go over it, then it clicks, you know. So I just want to make sure that I'm being thorough with all this kind of stuff, because I know that when I first started this game, everything was kind of overwhelming. It was really, you know, I didn't understand anything. I was just learning from trial and error. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you want to see more of these videos, I can for sure make more of them. I can go way more in depth on some of these things. Some things don't really need to be gone too in depth, because there's not really a whole lot to explain. The Destiny board is definitely one of those things where it's like, it's a big thing. There's a whole other half of the Destiny board that I didn't even go over. As a new player though, don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about anything past this and this, okay? When you first start, doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, thanks for watching. Yeah, hopefully I'll make some more videos like this in the future. Let me know in the comments if there's any questions that you have regarding the game, regarding literally anything. I've been playing this game for years, so I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what there is for this game to offer. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day.